Hey guys, J77 here doing another flashback review, and it's a movie that is continuing the tie-ins to some of the superhero films that's going to be coming out, one already out, and I am basically going to be talking about a hero that is actually in the Avengers film, and to be honest, I kind of wish I didn't. It was not one of my best experience watching a film, or a film that never came out in theaters, and I'm referring to Captain America. Now, I actually will just say right straight up, I hate this movie. I really do hate this film. Even when the film, even when years pass, when I saw it again and was sadly reminded by Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, when he did his review, it's just the look of that film continues to disgust me. I guess the reason for it, I had a very high expectation for this movie. As a kid, you have high expectations for any film you see. I was the guy who said if I see it and I like it, no matter what that film is. And one of the reasons why I do flashbacks is to look back at all the films that I saw as I was a kid, growing up to as a teen, even to my young adult years. We look at these movies and just see, do they really hold up? This is a film I can tell you that I didn't need to look twice to know this film was absolute garbage. In fact, when I did look at it for the second time, unfortunately, it gotten worse. To the point where I didn't even finish the rest of the film. This film I got attracted to this film, actually. Sorry if I'm mishearing the words, I'm so excited. I got attracted to this film in 1989 when they did a teaser trailer. The teaser trailer had major explosions. It looked like a space epic. If you see the trailer, if you see that teaser trailer, I don't know if anybody has it on YouTube or not, but if you do find it, you should check that out, because it had major explosions, and then you see the iconic shield. Now, even though I never followed the Captain America comics, I knew who Captain America was. I knew what he looked like. I knew what people had spoken of him. They actually had a brief cartoon they showed, and I've seen a few episodes. But even though I never really followed him in the comics, I knew what he represented, and I knew how important he was to even the diest of fans. And so when I saw it, I got to tell you, I was pumped up. I said, "All right, 1990 is going to be great. It's going to be Back to the Future, RoboCop 2. It's going to be a great summer." Well, I saw Back to the Future 3, I saw RoboCop 2, also just about most of the films that came out in 1990, except for the film that I was actually looking forward to seeing the most, and that was Captain America. They had the poster of the Shield in the theaters. It was a Metropolitan Theater in downtown Brooklyn, and they was actually really advertising, and then it just disappeared. No one knew what happened. No one knew why this film never came out. It just never came out. It just this left in people's back burners. It wasn't until about the last latter of 1990 when this film was quietly released in VHS. I say quietly because there was no major promotion that said now on VHS or posters hanging up on the video store. And we had a lot of video stores in Brooklyn. We had Blockbuster just moved in. We had Video Mania. We had Video Heaven. We had the local video stores. It was Video Capital in Brooklyn. And I stumbled across my video store that my mom registered for me, and there it was. It was a small little piece of a catalog that showed Captain America, the price, which was $67 to own the video. Hey, look, this video was still pretty much a hot item. It didn't really start to fade itself out until the end, and it was still expensive. So when I say this video was $67, believe me, it was $67. But once I saw it, I said, "All right, I gotta see it. I gotta rent it." It was $2 a day to rent. But I couldn't get the video. I couldn't get the actual video, and the reason why I couldn't get the video because there was a big list. Everybody was watching it, so every time I had to go check and see if it's out, check and see if it's coming out. She put me on a list, and finally, after almost 2 months, the video was there for me to watch on my VCR. Was very happy. I was giddy as a school kid. Went upstairs, had my chips and soda ready, popped down the video. and what I saw just took the wind out of me. I felt like a whole year of trying to watching this video have just been sucked out. I might as well start off with the effects. I've seen great effects from a lot of high budget movies, and this film looked like the effects were pretty much what you find in a direct-to-DVD Phase 3 movie. When I say Phase 3, it's one of those films that somebody else made, and they self-promoted, they self-distributed, and they just throw it out there. You know it was pretty much was made cheaply because of the effects and how the actors was interacting and how the camera worked. And that is exactly what I got to feel. I saw these dogs, I don't know what the hell they were, but I just felt there was just like, okay, something wrong with these effects, something wrong with this film. This film looked dated, and the film just came out. But I guess one thing that struck me the most was the way Captain America was portrayed. From the beginning, I felt this is not Captain America. Something's not right. Why are they portraying Captain America this way? And right up from the beginning, he came on screen, right up to the very end. I've grown to hate this character even more, and I really wanted to like this character because he was such an iconic figure in the comic book. Every time he was on that screen, I just got more angrier and angrier to the point where I just almost completely gave up watching this film. I stood on this film, I said, please be better, please be better. And one reason why I kept me staying on this film was because there was an actor who I absolutely love. I love when he's acting. I love when he plays the bad guy. Loved him in the first two Beverly Hills Cops movies. Loved him in the RoboCop film. Loved him in Total Recall. I really did enjoy this character, so I really wanted to see if he could actually save it. He played the president of the United States, who actually witnessed Captain America save the White House by redirecting the rocket that was supposed to hit the White House. He directed it, in some miraculous reason, it had enough fuel to crash land in the snowy Arctic. I'm going a little ahead of myself, but this is pretty much where this character comes in. Over the years, he became famous, he became a political figure, he became president, and he was the main reason why I stayed with this film. I was hoping that this character could have saved this film, but even with his performance, this film just was unsavable. It was unsalvageable, at least by me. It was not something I expected from this film. It starts out pretty simple. Steve Rogers was in this top secret project. He goes to this hidden laboratory that was disguised as a restaurant. He's been given a super soldier serum, which, to be honest with you, didn't look like he needed because he was pretty much in good shape by this woman who escaped at the Nazis facility after they had kidnapped the boy and wiped out his whole family. That boy was put into torture and all sorts of stuff. And that same kid later on became the Red Skull. And I'll get to the Red Skull in a minute in this film because it's kind of interesting. She gave the super soldier serum. She's working for the government now, and she gave the serum to Steve Rogers. But before anything else can happen, she gets assassinated by a spy. She gets shot. Steve Rogers gets shot, but he managed to take the guy down. People thought he was going to die, but because he came able to regenerate, which, by the way, they didn't really get into details how that happened. He just miraculously recovered, and from there, he's automatically put on the suit. Given explained that he's the only one of his kind because the doctor never really wrote any of her experiments down. And pretty much, at least they explained that part. And he landed him in the middle of nowhere with no other backup, just him versus the Nazis. He beats up the Nazis, but then he comes across Red Skull. Which I'm not gonna lie, I actually liked the design how he did Red Skull. I thought it was kind of menacing. He looked at animalistic a little bit with that design. And basically he's got his ass handed to him. I'm sorry to say, he got beat up. I mean, it was not exactly Captain America's greatest moments. From most of the beginning, he just looked like a wimp throughout the whole film. He timed the rocket. I believe he cut Red Skull's hand before the rocket got launched. He was able to steer it out of the White House way, crash land to the Arctic, only to get thawed out years later. And from there, he's pretty much out of touch. He escapes. And that's when the stupidity really sets in. There's a lot of stuff I did not like. You got this so-called sidekick that many people make fun of as being the Jimmy Olsen of Captain America's universe. You have the situation where he's running away from the people that's trying to help him. You can see there's a stereotypic demeanor to him because he still thinks that there's a war going on, and when he sees something that's made in Japan or something, he figures that person is a spy. Kind of those nitty stuff. But the thing that really pissed me off about this film is the acting was horrible. With the exception of the guy who played the White House, he tried. God, did he try? And it just wasn't working. And thankfully, nobody remembers him from that film. But God, man, he did try, and it just. You have the best scar, which for some reason they abandoned the fact that he had permanent injury to his face and just gave him his skin. It looked like nothing like I expect him to be. He still is the Red Skull, but obviously they never really explained that he was wearing a mask. I don't think they need to explain wearing a mask because obviously he miraculously healed from his injuries, and he's running this organization. And you would think a guy who had all this power, who was supposed to be responsible for countless assassinations, including Martin Luther King, JFK, and you name it, that he was responsible. Yet his best men are two females who you can easily see they're trying to kill Captain America with a sore thumb. Even Captain America see it. This just didn't add up to me. This whole thing didn't add up. Captain America eventually returned to his first love, which they still have feelings for the other, but she gets killed off kind of quick. Her daughter is devastated, and she's vowing revenge. She wanted to help Captain America to avenge her mother's death. But basically she became a little bit more than a nuisance to me than anything else. Captain America, he spent most of the film running. I don't even know why they call it Captain America. I mean, say what you want about Red Brown. At least Red Brown, in some degree, has fought back. But it just was a giant mess. And even with the ending, when he finally put on the damn suit to save the president, it was the president who was doing most of the work anyway. He really looked like he didn't need Captain America. He was even willing to sacrifice himself to make sure that he wasn't used as a weapon, which to me shows more bravery than Captain America, who seems to run at the sight of danger in this movie. The ending, Red Skull had a tape. He hears the tape. He put a bomb in the piano. He had a tape hearing his what was happening to his family. Where did his tape come from? I don't know. Obviously, they must have recorded their own crimes. Go figure. This is the movies. And that was enough for Captain America to take a little bit of action and throw him off the cliff. Lamest death ever. Knocked out some lady with his famous shield. At least he managed to throw that. But other than that, that's it. That's all I can pretty much cough up. It's a horrible film. I mean, what can I tell you? It's a very horrible film. And what made it so horrible is that just by the minute you see this film, all the way to the ending credits, there was no real effort to make this film as credible or as least entertaining as possible. You can say what you want about the Red Brown Captain America, and I'm not saying they're great films at least, but there was at least some kind of effort. Granted, they disregarded any of the origin or the resource that was Captain America in the Red Brown series, but at least it will still have some entertainment qualities. I can still enjoy some of the stuff that what they were trying to pull, even though it's utterly ridiculous and just basically not Captain America like. There was still something there that I actually liked it in those two Captain America movies. I thought Christopher Lee playing a villain in that movie was actually pretty good. I actually thought that Death Too Soon, actually Christopher Lee was actually pretty good in. Granted, it was still a stupid film, but you gotta expect that when it's made for television. You're not gonna get high, budget quality, especially during an era where none of the comic book movies was taken seriously at all. Even the TV shows were tended to be a little out there, but at least there were some things I can hang on to. There's nothing really, with the probably exception of the president's the character who played the president, that was worth mentioning in this movie. Everything was a complete waste of time, and it's sad, really, for a film that really had high expectations. Because I gotta tell you, this was a hot item, at least in New York, when it comes to video rentals. People wanted to see this film, especially when they had the teaser trailer and had the posters out. And when they finally saw it, boy, the anger that my neighborhood had when they saw this film. I mean, this film really angered a lot of people, and I can see why it took so long for this film to finally be made. Thank goodness the people behind Captain America: The First Avengers got it right. It still had its issues, but it was very, very rare, and it didn't take away from what I enjoyed about that Captain America. That Captain America is fun, enjoyable, is everything you expect for Captain America and more. This film was just the total opposite. It just basically pissed me off to a very large degree. And the only regret is that I actually tried to wipe that out of my mind. And there's always something that kept me reminding me that you've seen this film. You know you did. This also pretty much almost set the whole comic book world back, because I know after this, Stan Lee really was flat out against making a Spider-Man movie, and he kept it in hiatus for a long, long time. It wasn't until what in the mid-90s when finally Spider-Man was introduced. But I do know this was the film that really set it off, because he did not like the way the comic book films was being shown, and he really made it his business. Especially with the way Batman was being introduced, and the way even Blade gave back credibility. He wanted to make sure that this film did not fail, and I think he made the right call, because if Spider-Man product came out during the 90s, I don't think he would have got the same quality. Lord knows how much they messed up Spider-Man in the 70s, and I will get to that one very, very soon, because I actually saw that film on YouTube, for that matter, but I'll get to that at a later date, because there's another comic movie I want to talk about. So what's my feeling on this one? Well, you already know I didn't like the film. If I'm going to give any kudos to, or I'm going to give anything some respect to, because I always try to find just something to praise. I have to praise the guy whose name escapes me. I'm not going to give him a fake name. If you've seen RoboCop, if you've seen the Total Recall, if you've seen Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, you know who I'm talking about. I gotta give him props. He did try hard, and he was actually a better fun character than Captain America was. God knows he held his own just fine. But even his performance, as good as it was in that film, when it needed to be good, it wasn't just enough. He couldn't carry this film by himself, and that's a shame. But anyhow, I'm gonna give him that half a star. To me, this is my worst comic book movie ever. More so than The Punisher. Punisher has some good things to it, even though it was a pretty bad adaptation of The Punisher. I actually liked the Dolph Lundgren in that role, but that's just something for me to talk about for another time. It's worse than Batman and Robin. There was something actually in Batman and Robin. It was a disappointing film, it was a bad film, but it was still something there that I actually can say, well, I did like this, I did like that. I can't say that to the Captain America. I can't say anything that Captain America gave me other than the fact that this actor was the one actor that was actually good in this film. And even he could not save it from being such a waste of time, and one of my biggest disappointment as a kid that I ever had watching any film, either in theaters or in VHS. So that's my feeling, half a star. If you've seen this film, hopefully you didn't, but even if you did and you liked it, let me know what you liked about it. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the matter. If you didn't like it, tell me why, even though I can guess why. and just leave it in the comment section if you agree or disagree. But as far as I'm concerned, yeah, this is one of the films that I despise the most. There's a lot of others, but this one really did I despise the most. So without further ado, this is J77 saying take care, and I see you in my next flashback review.